Thank you for choosing to watch the Watchman News Headlines video. Our full episodes can now be seen over at Patreon with much more added content for just $2 a month. Link is in the description. If you cannot afford $2 a month, please consider using our Amazon affiliate link, purchasing from our Teespring store, or making a PayPal donation. All links are below. In order for us to grow, we have to make changes to enable it. Our time is valuable, and we have been one of the very few news sources actually dedicated to bringing you honest, hard-hitting, actionable news and information. Plus, for your $2 a month, you do not have to hear me blabber about these links. It's a win for us all.
Bullshit.
Thank you. Good evening, watchmen and watchwomen of YouTube. So we had a long discussion tonight. In fact, we've already been live for an hour and 42 minutes. So some of that was just chit-chat, but we definitely went over the hour mark on the subject at hand, which was prepper assets. And we had a real good talk about that. And, real quick to explain what it was that we talked about when I say that is we talked about ways to put minimal money into something to get a maximum return after SHTF. So in other words, things right now that you could get for a minimum cost that you could really maximize your bartering power after a major event. So a really good episode tonight. I know it's getting to the end of the month, which means if you become a patron now, you're paying $2 essentially for just like 6 days or what have you. But if you're interested in becoming a patron, put that in the back of your mind. And if you choose to become a patron after the 1st to where you'll begin a full month, do not write it down on something, on a calendar or piece of paper or something. Do not miss the show that we had tonight, because there's a lot of valuable information in that show, and I'm not just telling you that. I want you guys, like I've been saying, I want to empower you, right? I have no interest in controlling you. I want to empower you, and any way I can think of to better do that, man, that's just great to me, because that's what I want. I want to see you succeed, okay? Tonight was a really, really good episode. So if you decide to become a patron, please, I understand waiting until the 1st of the month to do so. Please mark it down somewhere to go back and watch the show on February 24th. And I'm telling you, it is a really good show. I will link down in the description of the video tonight's show. You can also bookmark that as well so that you can go back to it again later if you decide to become a patron. So anyway, you're not here to hear about Patreon. You're here to hear about headlines. So let's get to them. Okay, nothing from last night, so I'm starting with anything that I'd started putting out this morning. Protests erupt after jury decides not to indict officers involved in black man Daniel Prude's death in custody. Twitter called out for double standards after it singles out report on UK influence op in Russia with hacked materials label. Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell offers to renounce UK and French citizenship in exchange for bail. Or bow, however you want to look at it, right? Natural gas is driving decarbonization in India. At least 75 dead amid wave of riots in Ecuador prisons attributed to gang war. Rioters erect barricades and throw bottles at police during 8th night at Pablo Hasél protest in Barcelona. Square doubles down on crypto, buying $170 million more in Bitcoin. Roe as NGO Amnesty says Navalny not a prisoner of conscience due to far-right views, and Western commentators claim RT is behind it. Venezuelan lawmakers back expulsion from EU ambassador after Brussels slaps sanctions on Caracas officials. China's fight against COVID-19 cut deaths from other illnesses, says a study. 4 arrested in international investigation over attempted $10 million extortion of senior Iraqi politician. China announces massive oil and gas discovery in Bohai Sea. Russia backs radical plan to block profits of companies that destroy environment after fining mining giant $2 billion over fuel spill. Russia expects to win big from rapidly expanding LNG market. Oklahoma man on parole accused of taking victim's heart to feed family that he later slayed and maimed. I actually remember when that happened. Beijing blasts Britain for abusing UN Human Rights Council to attack and smear China. UK, France, and Germany urge Iran to reverse dangerous decision to suspend agreement on short notice nuclear inspections. At least $1 billion of Iran's frozen assets to be released by South Korea after Tehran meets with Seoul. UK seeking re-election to UN Human Rights Council after Trump withdrawal. Wait a minute. U.S. Let me reread that. U.S. seeking re-election to UN Human Rights Council after Trump withdrawal. Blinken calls for expulsion of other members. 1 in 6 Americans under 23 say they're LGBTQ, as more people in the U.S. than ever identify as non-heterosexual. Commission calls on UK government to close loophole that allowed extremists to avoid prosecution. Extent of mental health toll in Russia from COVID-19 pandemic revealed as number of those seeking help increased up to 30% in 2020. Man dies after police kneel on his neck for nearly 5 minutes, family says in wrongful death claim. Now this had already happened a little while back, but now his family has filed a wrongful death claim. In landmark case, German court sentences ex-Syrian intel agent to 4.5 years over involvement in 2011 protest crackdown. British pound extends relentless rally to multi-year highs amid hopes of economic recovery. A £10,000 fine for a party London barbershop celebration ends in police raid. Dutch police announced 23 tons of cocaine seized by authorities in record haul. Our forests are sick. German woodland hit by record damage due to fires and pests, says a damning new report. Neera Tanden's quest for OMB post hits another roadblock as crucial step postponed indefinitely, says reports. Member of London's mayor's statue toppling diversity commission resigns amid accusations of racism and anti-Semitism. Facebook says it erred on the side of over-enforcement when blocking news content in week-long standoff in Australia. Even with pandemic and global economic downturn, Russian national debt lower than expected as country counts cost of coronavirus. Global airline industry body to launch COVID travel pass by March. Dip in UK's vaccination rate tied to supply fluctuations as COVID jab makers get to grips with production push, a deputy CMO says. After the West refused to provide Ukraine with COVID-19 vaccines, Kiev's long wait finally over as 500,000 doses arrived from India. Australian Defence Minister hospitalized as a precaution amid scandal over alleged rape of young staffer. Poland outlaws face coverings and scarves in favor of masks and ramps up regional restrictions as British COVID-19 variant spreads. Violence in Kiev sees 27 cops injured as protesters come out against court decision to lock up far-right nationalist Sternenko. If I said that right, Sternenko, something like that. Anti-Trump Lincoln Project received $32 million in free media coverage since sexual harassment scandal broke, says a report. Preacher without a face, ISIS chief recruiter in Germany sentenced to over 10 years in prison following a years-long trial. Not a year, I guess several years. Sweden clamps down on restaurant hours, advises solo shopping in bid to curb worrying COVID-19 situation. Let's Play Strip Poker. Former staffer publishes explosive essay dealing claims of sexual harassment against Governor Andrew Cuomo. UK's COVID-19 app can be converted into vaccine certificate whether Brits want it or not, says reports. France's Dunkirk area to join NICE in weekend lockdown amid deteriorating COVID-19 situation, says a health minister. U.S. Federal Reserve investigating disruptions to Fedwire payment system and other services. In fresh censorship, Twitter bans Russian accounts it says are undermining confidence in NATO amid rising tensions with Moscow. 72 hours to leave, EU envoy to Venezuela told to pack her bags after Brussels brings new sanctions over elections and rights abuses. Police pelted with stones, garbage dumpsters set alight, in Catalonia's ninth night of riots over jailed rapper Pablo Hasél. And it's Catalonia, sorry. How do you do, fellow kids? Biden White House leaves followers baffled after tweeting out of touch meme with Canadian Prime Minister. Israeli PM urges Biden to maintain sanctions on International Criminal Court to stave off war crimes investigations, says media. Conservative host posts about his investigation into voter fraud claims and gets blocked, challenges Twitter to disprove his findings. The war continues. Small investors up in arms over GameStop stock trades halted amid price surge and reports of Reddit outages. What about student loans, water, or the homeless? Outrage follows report that $1.7 trillion F-35 program is now considered a failure. We've been saying that for like a long time. Asian American civil rights group blasts critical race theory as hateful, divisive fraud in fiery letter. Hey, I love aircraft. I really, really do love aircraft. But that F-35... yeah, I mean, it's kind of a cool concept, but that thing's been nothing but a money hole. Asian American Civil Rights Group blasts critical... oh, I already said that, didn't I? Australian Parliament passes law requiring big tech to pay media after last-minute changes prompted by Facebook news ban. And let's see, Georgia State House approves bill limiting police budget cuts to no more than 5% as Democrats slam law as unconstitutional. And that would be it. That is the headlines. I'm going to wrap it up and get out of here because in 6 minutes from now, we're going to have a dog huffing at us just non-stop until we're snuggled up in bed with her. So it's just the way it is. I don't know where she keeps her watch at, but she keeps it handy, I can tell you that much. Anyway, I am out of here. I hope everybody has a great night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.